I'm not an authority in many things, but when it comes to procrastination and putting off reading, I'm an expert. Better than food, man. Oh, hello. Welcome to Better Than Food Book Reviews. I'm your host, Clifford Lee Sargent. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Keeping it pretty low-key over here. Just, bought a house and got married this last month, so keeping the stress levels down. I give you all these books to read, and I haven't given you any useful tools to read them. I did 2 years ago, I did this video on, having the courage to read complex books. Okay, that's cool. But, or intimidating books or literature or whatever, just having the, the balls to dive in essentially, which I still stand by, of course. But I have become very obsessed with prioritizing, scheduling, optimizing the hours in the day, right? It just kind of comes with like listening to Rogan and Ferris and all these podcast guys and the minimalists, and I get obsessed with all this stuff. And, I like to listen to a lot of podcasts, cherry pick, or YouTube channels, and assimilate all of the tips and tricks. So there are some videos on YouTube about reading and comprehension and giving you like tips like reread or like, take notes and like stuff like that. I'm like, all right, cool. But I'm going to give you my version. My version is not limited to books, okay? It's kind of this all-encompassing structure that I'm chasing. You're taking care of the rest of the things in your life that are important in order to get the most from these books. That's my approach to this whole thing. Because your body is a complex organism, right? You can hear tips on like how to learn to drive, how to learn to swim, or like do jujitsu, or like any of these things. Like, you can get the tips or the tricks for learning to do something, a skill or an activity. But if you're sleep deprived, if your diet is shit, if you aren't doing things in a proper order, if you're doing it at the wrong time of the day, all of these things are going to compound, and it's going to suck no matter what, no matter how good, the tips are or how true or false they are. So I'm here to share some tips that have worked tremendously for me as far as reading a book and getting the most out of it, and also how to optimize the reading time you've scheduled for yourself. Because there is no one who knows how it feels to read a page, or more like a sentence, 500 times in a row, still not register it, and then just give up in frustration and abandon the whole thing. That still happens to me, because I try and read a lot, but, Jordan Peterson said you can only get three good hours in per day, like, okay, that makes sense, so 3 hours of reading per day. It's not very much out of, the 12 hours, the 16 hours you're gonna be awake. So without further ado, here are 6 things to help you optimize your reading. And there are way more than 6 in here, but we're just gonna start off, and they're more like sections, right? It's like, here are 6 sections of a bunch of different shit to help you get the most out of books. Seriously. But do whatever you want, but this has worked for me tremendously. Okay, first thing, it's very obvious. Stabilize properly, right? You need a good chair and a good desk. You can get kind of creative with this if you have more time than you have funding, I get it. You need, especially if you're tall, a phenomenal office chair, okay, with some lower back support and some neck support. This stuff is crucial, totally crucial. The flip side of this is a standing desk. I am lifting up my desk. This is how I do it. That's like my laptop there blocking the view. Oh, everything's about to die. You need a standing desk. Standing desk, this is one from Autonomous. The chair is also from Autonomous. Collectively, I think this is, the chair is like 300 and the desk is like 300. Yeah, so it's like 600 total for both of these. The desk was a gift from my wife. It's been extremely useful. The chair, I tried the Aaron Miller chair, and that's what I've been using for a while. I can't recommend the Herman Miller. The Herman Miller chair is what I've been using for the videos for a long time now. And I don't I don't like it. It has not done anything good for my back. In fact, it's made my back pain worse. I'm tall, I'm like 6'4", so you know that's gonna happen anyways. But a good office chair is essential for reading. And this one so far, I've only had this for a few days, and it's fine. It's worked out tremendously so far. But I like to switch back and forth between the office chair and the standing desk. Now, if you don't want to go and spend a couple $100, I totally get it. Or if you have to choose, rather, get the chair. And then, you know, because you can fake a standing desk much easier. I mean, you can get like a plank and like nail it into the wall or whatever. Or you can like stack up books or like stack up bookshelves. You know, you just like stack it up to your height and then just stand up. Make sure you have good posture and read your book. I'm assuming you're going to be reading on a computer for this, you know. This is also for just getting work done behind the computer in general. But you see, despite the fact that I love physical books, I read a lot on the laptop these days to save time because I have to read so much. Despite the fact that I absolutely am a fetishist. I love rare books, I love old books, I love the feel, the smell, the weight, the texture of books, whatever. So to wrap up the first part, stabilize properly, get a great office chair and a great standing desk. Or invest in the chair and make a DIY standing desk. But I'm telling you, a good chair is going to be money well invested. Seriously. And if there's a way for you to test it out for a little while and before making the full commitment, that's great. But, maybe the Herman Miller chair will work for you. It did not for me. So once again, the company I'm using here is Autonomous, and they have the standing desk and the office chair. I am not affiliated. I have just found their stuff to be incredibly useful and very reasonably priced because you can easily spend several $1,000s on just these two things, on each of these things if you want. It's ridiculous. No need at all. No need. So, second thing is schedule. Schedule. Use the Pomodori technique or something. And all that is like you download the Pomodori app or you just go to like your clock on your phone, on your iPhone or your Android or whatever, and you type in 25 minutes. 25-minute increments. Read for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Get some water, walk around, stand up, go outside, come back in. 25 minutes, 5-minute breaks. You get like 6 of those increments in and you're gonna you can probably finish a good portion, if not a whole novel in that time. Some of you guys who can read very fast. I do not read very fast, by the way. I do not read fast, at least by my own standards. I don't know the exact words per minute, but I don't read fast. I like to take my time. I like to think about stuff. I like to read a sentence and kind of just let it wash over me, and sometimes I just like put the book down and I just like stare out the window. I'm lucky to have a window with this view now. And I just think about, But Tim Ferriss he said, if you don't have time, you don't have priorities. And he's absolutely right. You have to schedule these things in. If you don't have time to read a book, it's because you're not scheduling properly. One thing I did not put on this list, but that I think is very useful, what is it? Stay focused, is that what it's called? Stay focused? I think there's that might be what it's called. I think there's an app that you can get for your browser, your web browser, called Stay Focused if you're reading online. Better to just take the book physically, but Stay Focused will block websites for you. I think it's free. There's many apps that will do that, but I found that to be a little bit useful because it is it is. It's a total cliche, but it is very easy to waste time on the internet. You just Command-T, type in F in the search bar, and then all of a sudden Facebook, enter, go, and then you get your stupid shit and your updates about Donald Trump and other things that don't matter when you could be reading. Next up, sleep. Do it. 8 hours. 7 if you're eating healthy, at least. If you're having trouble sleeping, there's a lot of things that could be going on. It could be your diet. You could be looking at too much blue light. You could be having, there might be too much light in your room when you're trying to go to bed. You might be wired up and have not expended your energy. You need to go and expend your energy. I suggest you do some heavy activity, exercising at night in order to just calm yourself down, get all that shit out, and just go to bed. Try that. And you could also go on what I'm doing right now and been experimenting with, which is the ketogenic diet. Found that to be tremendously helpful. Which brings me to my next section. Sleep is really important. That's a whole section unto itself. But next section, this is where it gets really fun. Biohacks. Before we go into this, always check with your doctor first. I am not a medical professional. I am in no way responsible for what happens to you if you do some stupid, crazy experimental shit on yourself without consulting a professional. Go talk to your doctor. Go talk to your doctor. Don't do anything stupid. Do your research. Talk to your medical professionals, please. Thank you. Also, men and women are very different. A lot of this is going to depend, you know, on your age and your activity level and, you know, your diet and a lot of stuff. That being said, for me personally, I have found that these are excellent tools to getting the most out of reading. Intermittent fasting gives me a boatload of energy, shit ton of energy. Love it. I don't eat until, you know, maybe between 12 and 2 every day. It's fantastic. Meditation, 15 to 20 minutes in this chair. Just transcendental meditation, whatever you want to call it. Just pick a word or a sentence or an idea and I just meditate on that, keep coming back to that. Do some sort of Wim Hof technique. In through the nose, 3 seconds. Out through the mouth, 10 seconds. Just like that. Make sure you feel that in your core. You may be saying to yourself, that's not reading, dude. No shit, Sherlock. This is going to help you retain what you read afterwards better. That sounded snarkier than I meant. I did not mean that. Yeah, meditation helps me tremendously. It will probably help you too. Meditation is tremendous. Yeah. Yeah, actually, you know, I've been thinking about, like, I want to start thinking about, like, death, like meditating on death. You know, Ferris, again, going back to him, he does that a lot. He does this, like, memento mori thing. It's like reminders of death, which I have plenty of in my my books that I read, and, you know, in the selection of titles that I have on Better Than Food. Death is omnipresent, and I'm actually going to be on a podcast about death with these guys in the Death Podcast coming up soon. So French guy got in touch with me, totally awesome dude, has this great podcast getting started, and I'm going to do an appearance on that, have a long conversation about death. So that's going to be in a couple weeks, and we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited about that. Anyways, back to it. Okay, we're talking about biohacks. Reel it in here now. Meditation. Next. Exercise. Yes, exercise, lifting weights, yoga, or alternatively Pilates, maybe some fighting, you know, like as in jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, any of that stuff. Phenomenal. It's kind of like help you feel in your body. I'm going to stick to recommending weightlifting, weight training right now. That has done quite a bit for energy levels, sleep, hormonal balance. I mean, everything, you know, it's great. Again, this is kind of like a holistic, if you want to call it, like a whole, you know, taking into account everything about the state of your body, physically and mentally. We want to get you in the best place possible in order to interpret difficult information. We're going to assume you're going to be reading hard books, difficult books, you know. Reading, you know, Patrick Suskind is not going to be the same as reading Joyce or Nietzsche, you know. This is going to be, these are tips, and these are tips for heavy literature, like serious reading when you need to comprehend what's in front of you and it's complicated and difficult. So, earplugs, even if there's no noise. For some reason, for me, I love them. Even if there's no noise, I just close the door and put these guys in. Max Ultra Soft foam earplugs. I've tried those like waxy ones where you like spread it over your ear and it's really uncomfortable. I don't like it. Kind of like gets stuck in the hair on the, you know, like my sideburns. Just supplements. All right, here we go. This is the fun part. Caffeine, black coffee, cold brew, all that good stuff. I recently subscribed, not affiliated with anything in this video, but I'm just gonna like drop stuff just because I like it. Just because I like it. Mistobox. If you're in the US, you can get this. This is pretty fantastic. It's just like a coffee subscription service. Like they send you a bag. You can do it every month, every week, whatever you want. You can get. They will send you a bag of phenomenal coffee from some roaster in the United States. And me, I love coffee. I love trying all different types, and so far I love it. I have one arriving today. I just tried one from I think it was Colorado. I don't know. I love it. It makes my life easier. It saves time and money. I don't have to go to the store and get it. I do like to support local coffee shops, but often it's more expensive. So this has been great for me. And I heard about it from a fan, the same guy who recommended The Serpent and the Rainbow. That guy is just a wealth of great knowledge. So thanks, Andrew. Hope you don't mind me dropping your name there. But yeah, that's awesome. Mistobox is incredible. So caffeine in all of its forms. You can do tea if you want, loose leaf tea, yerba mate, whatever. I find it's great. Hyper focused, definitely like kicks your reading into gear. And now we're gonna get into the stuff that lately I have found helps with reading and comprehension. I've been doing the ketogenic diet, which is high fat, very, very low carb, like 5% of your diet coming from carbs, and moderate amounts, 20 to 25% protein. So with those macros, I mean, you're gonna be in the transition period. I'm about almost 3 weeks into it, and it's phenomenal. Going into ketosis and switching your body from burning glucose to burning fat can be really, really uncomfortable if you're not supplementing with your proper electrolytes and getting enough sodium, enough salt in your diet. Magnesium, potassium, calcium, and salt. Those you want to keep up. So, and maybe a multivitamin just to be safe. That's what I do. But the ketogenic diet for me, I heard about the mental clarity, and I heard about all these tremendous benefits. I had done kind of low carb before, and I felt like shit, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna go back. But this time I was like, full speed ahead, fuck it, I'm gonna eat the coconut oil, the cheese, gonna do the whole damn thing. It's phenomenal. The mental clarity is pristine. My girlfriend was hypoglycemic, or so the doctors told her. She dropped the carbs in the morning. If she didn't have them, she would get like nauseous, start like really get just completely ill within the first few hours if she didn't have some sort of simple sugar. And she likes challenges though. So she came along with me on this one, and it's been working phenomenally for her as well. She can go till like 11 or 12 without eating, and she's totally fine. The satiety from the fat and the protein is phenomenal. So you're gonna save time and have more reading time if you try this and it works for you. It may not work for you. There are of course people it probably will not work for, or that it's not appropriate for. Do your research, check it out again. But if it does work for you, well, not only if you want to lose weight, well then phenomenal, that's good, you know, fucking bully. But you're gonna have that, plus you're gonna have the added benefit of being basically full, like all the time, and you eat a lot of vegetables. That's something else. You eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables on this diet, which is something that I have never done or just gotten enough of. So I was thrilled to find that out. You know, tons of cruciferous vegetables, lots of fat, moderate amounts of protein, and lemon every day, lemon water, so you don't get gallstones or kidney stones, and or gout. So yeah, but you'd find all that out. One of the added benefits of this diet, of course, is the bulletproof coffee, which everybody talks about. And in the beginning, I went too crazy and I gained all this weight, like just like butter in the coffee and a shit ton of coconut oil. What you want to do is you want to do maybe a little bit of coconut oil, and you do some MCT oil, but only a tablespoon, otherwise you're going to shit your pants. You should listen to the Joe Rogan talking about MCT oil and like shitting his pants. It's really funny. I highly recommend it. Yeah, MCT oil is phenomenal. So, how does this relate to reading? Okay, well, take you through the day. I wake up, I go to bed around 9 or 10, between 9 and 10. My off switch now, because of doing all this, is just like when I'm on in the morning, here I go. Like I'm fucking ready to attack the day. And by the afternoon, about now, it's about 2:30, so now it starts to kind of wind down. By 9 o'clock, man, I am like a rock. Like I am like this just hulking mass that must be laid in bed. And I will not rise for World War III. So that's essentially how my energy levels go. The morning, I wake up, first thing, first cup of coffee, talk with the wife. Second cup of coffee, put in some MCT oil and coconut oil, a little bit of that, and I'm starting to get pretty good. With that second cup and those fats, I take something else. I've been taking a couple of different things. I've been taking IQ2 today, which got me wired as hell on an empty stomach, save for the fats and coffee, the MCT oil and the coconut oil. And then, I have not taken these together, but I've taken them alternatively. Both of them have an astounding effect on me when I'm fasted, like just coconut oil in coffee. On it, which Rogan is a big sponsor of, or which sponsors Joe Rogan's show, Aubrey Marcus and On It. I take the Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is what it is. And I've tried a different version of Alpha GPC that was it was okay. But so Alpha GPC or Alpha Brain and IQ2, which was recommended to me by my friend Brian, both of those absolutely will, it's kind of like just, you're going to be focusing, you're going to be focusing on whatever the hell you're focusing on. You are going to be it's kind of like some sort of upper, but I mean, you are really hyper into whatever you're doing and your mind is firing off all these ideas, but it's not scattered. That's the phenomenal thing about this, and that's why it's great for reading. I'm reading Maps of Meaning right now. Man, the first part of that book is really difficult, but took a little bit of this and just, I mean, at least it seemed like double the time, just totally into it. But, I have to tell you that my wife tried it without any food, which it doesn't recommend. It says take with breakfast on the bottle, but the effects were diminished for me if I took it with food. If I take it on an empty stomach, I'm going. Although, if you take it in the wrong, for some people, and I've had this happen once, I haven't had it happen that much, if you take it without food, there is this risk of getting a little just too whacked out, nauseous, a little bit sick. So basically accidentally poisoned my wife once. Sorry, honey. But it wasn't too bad, but it was bad enough so that it was very unpleasant and makes it difficult to work. So you've been warned. One more thing from my friend who had been listening to Tim Ferriss in his podcast as well. I think these guys sponsor Tim Ferriss. It was actually Four Sigmatic with lion's mane and chaga, or however that thing is. Four Sigmatic coffee, the mushroom coffee. Yeah, another thing is gonna dial it in and get you going, and you'll be reading and you'll be comprehending. Man, you take that stuff, you're gonna be comprehending real good. So yes, I experiment with legal nootropic drugs for reading. Yes, I do. I do not know the long-term effects of these drugs. They appear to be safe and healthy, although some of them are not approved by the FDA, so you have to be careful with that. I think IQ2 and On It, I'm not sure if On It is, but I know that I'm pretty sure that IQ2 is not approved by the FDA. So fair warning, in case you have a third ear growing or something. It's not my fault. Again, check with your medical professional, but third ear or not, I'm going to be reading like a motherfucker. I don't recommend any illegal substances for reading. I really do not. What else we get? Find your optimal comprehension time, right? Morning for me. Who'd have thought, you know, if you looked at me in my early 20s or my teenage years, oh, I also stopped drinking. I just like cut out the booze. Like just, I stopped drinking, and that has been tremendously beneficial everywhere. I can recommend it. Please stop drinking. You're gonna save money. You're gonna save money. You're gonna get more reading done. You're gonna get a better partner. You're gonna get, you're gonna look better, be in better shape. You're gonna feel better. Blah 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 blah. I mean, you can drink if you want. You can have wine here and there. Like, do whatever you want. Like, you know, I won't think any worse of you. You know, certainly. But I can say for me, stopping drinking while it wasn't a problem was phenomenal. Like, it was great. If you could chart the quality of my life, it would just look like this. So it hasn't stopped yet. But yeah, find your optimal comprehension time. I say that because, you know, I would think about, oh man, I used to like wake up hungover, and that's like the worst, you know, because you lose all this fucking time. So mine is absolutely morning, fasted with caffeine, maybe a couple of supplements. And I don't always do it, you know, but it's usually after the second cup of coffee, you know. Really, just the coffee is the only thing that always stays there. I always just keep that, and then I'm ready to go, supplements or not. Just pour over coffee, easy. So morning, keep your mornings open if you can. I know some of you guys have full-time jobs or you're students. It's very rough. I get it. There's a lot of juggling. It's going to take a lot of work to prioritize, but it is important. If you can't do the morning, okay. Find your optimum time with the hours that you do have. Find your optimum time in the afternoon or the evening. Just find some time. If you just, you know, get whatever time you can. Schedule larger blocks of free time wherein you have just reading as your main activity. Just reading. Just read. Just schedule like 3 hours if you can. Just go and read. And then every now and then, you know, after your 25-minute Pomodoro increment, your 25 minutes, just stop 5 minutes and think about what you read. Take some notes if you like. Yeah. And on taking notes, I use ebooks to streamline the process. I've been very obsessed with ebooks and Kindle recently because of the ability to highlight. You can do it so fast. You can take your notes, you can just like copy paste and do all the stuff you know. So for really comprehending and getting the most out of books, I have to admit, I prefer to do it online now because you can zoom into the text. You don't have to hold the fucking book up to your nose like this. You know, you can really get in there. You can take your notes, you can place them somewhere else, or you can just highlight them. You can come back to them. You can flip around. You don't have to carry it. It's kind of a godsend. I mean, the internet's an amazing thing. I'm starting to just prefer reading on the computer than in physical form. I love doing it in physical form. I love books. I would love to have a bookshop. You know, I would love to do that. But I have to, from the utilitarian point of view, there are so many books now, so many books that everything is yelling, screaming at you for your time. And if you want to optimize that time, then you have to read in the most optimal way. So here you go. That would be ebooks for me. A couple of useful tips. Close your doors. Door or doors, whatever, close them. Clean your room, so like as I have not done, as you can see, so things are not screaming at you. The less stimuli you have around you vying for your attention, the better. You know, be a minimalist. If you're a minimalist, you're gonna get a lot of reading done and a lot of optimal reading done. Whatever, you know, whatever, to a degree, right? Whatever works for you, but the less stuff you have screaming at you for attention, of course, the better you're gonna be. So that would be streamlining the whole process. If you're in public or you're on the metro or something, or you're on a bus or you're in a car, wherever, you know, get your phone, snap a picture of the page with the page number so you can refer to that later. Just really quick, you know, just like pull it out, boom, done. Helps. That saved me in a couple of spots. I prefer, sometimes it's getting used to books with like people's notes in them. It's kind of cool to just see like, you know, the history of the book. It's just, this is object, and it takes on kind of this extremely meaningful quality. You know, it can be like almost like in some cases like a religious quality if the text is powerful enough. You know, it's like There's something very special and kind of sacred about that. Yeah. I love that. Is that going to help you read optimally or comprehend more? Fuck no. So, I mean, yeah, we're going to get back to the point. I know. I don't mean to be cruel. Just because you love books does not mean you have to be an idealist or precious about them, okay? One more bonus tip or rule that I break all the time without fail. One book at a time. If you really want to get the most out of the book, one book at a time, okay? I do not do that. I try. Sometimes I do. It's more like a few days dedicated to a book, and I just focus in on it, and I try and rip through it and get the most out of it. But man, there are so many books, and there is so little time. Again, Ferris has a memento mori, or several in his house apparently, to remind him of death and the fact that we could die at any minute. It's kind of a Tao or Buddhist sort of thing, you know. You should think about your own death. I would say you should meditate on your own death. Not in a morbid or kind of like pathologic way, but you know, in a way that is makes you grateful and appreciate everything, all the wonderful things in your life. I haven't always been that way, and I need to be, I've discovered. If you don't have some level of optimism, I mean, life is gonna fucking suck. I mean, life sucks anyways, you know, like life is tragic, right? There's so many disappointing factors of a life that, you know, to just add any more to it is kind of just insane. It's just completely self-destructive or self-sabotaging. So I think in order to read the best, you have to make your health and your life the best it can be, you know? I mean, it's kind of silly saying that, I guess you could, but not really. No. I really do think that in order to get the most from books, you have to get the most out of yourself, out of your health and your quality of life. I mean, the healthier you are physically and mentally, the more you're going to get out of these books. It's that simple. It really is. The healthier you are physically and mentally, the more you're going to get out of the books I recommend. Boom. I've also been drinking this tonic lately. This is apple cider vinegar, lemon sparkling water, and lemon juice. You know, lots of benefits to that, including, you know, weight loss, fat burning, and you know, all the benefits of lemon, which is complete and total superfood, which is amazing. It's funny to see how I've changed ever since that, you know, Thomas Ligotti review, isn't it? It's just night and day almost. Life is a lot better since then, I can tell you that. Most certainly. Most certainly. That was a pretty dark time. So that is all I have for you today. If you know somebody who would benefit from this video, please share it on Facebook or Twitter or email it to your grandmother. And yeah, tell them to subscribe. And always remember that life is far too short to read bullshit, because someday you're gonna die, so am I. What are you gonna do? Gotta make the most of it. Gotta optimize the time you have. Gotta optimize the reading time that you have, because you have a limited, finite amount of reading time. And we do not have enough time in this world to read all of the great books. So you can take my humble advice and get the most from the reading time that you have been allotted by whatever greater force there is. So maybe, just maybe, next time you take one of my recommendations and you buy one of those books from Amazon, you should maybe go one at a time and really focus and take care of the rest of your life in order to get the most from this very pleasurable activity. Is that it? Yeah, we're all gonna die. Just remember that. But it's okay. It's cool. You know? Comment and leave some recommendations for books. I read the comments. I appreciate all of the feedback. Tell me what you think would improve the show. I know some of you have been saying that I've been too YouTubey, too consolidated and fast-paced and gabby lately. You guys prefer some of the old techniques. It was just kind of like laziness initially, on just lack of editing in the beginning, where I just would like go slower and take my time and sort of just think and do a little bit more off the cuff stuff in the videos. I do think there's something to be said for that, for doing more you know, in the moment monologues or whatever. But there's a good balance there. You know, there's a balance of not wasting your time and allowing for a more natural, honest type of review. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to do my absolute best, and I really appreciate you guys staying with me this entire time. I mean, it really has. Moving across the country was insane. You know, like Los Angeles to Florida, that's a big change, man. And getting married and buying a house is a whole nother. So, you know, thank you. If you found this video or some of the book reviews useful, you can help support the show by going to patreon.com/booksarebetterthanfood. And you can get access to my private vlog and see what books I'm reading before I review them. And, you know, we can chat on Skype over some coffee and shoot the shit. I do listen to a lot of the recommendations I get on there. So if you really want to recommend a book to me, if you support the show, then I'll definitely be more inclined to take it and, you know, shuttle it to the top of the stack, so to speak. Yeah, please subscribe. Always remember, life is far too short to read bullshit, and have a good one. Good to see you, of course. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night. Ciao.